Hey, what's going on, guys? Z here, and welcome to a new series. I really enjoy creating videos for you guys. I enjoy the process of filming, and I'm getting better at editing, but it's still not my forte, and I'm very slow at it. These videos are very, very, very long. I don't know how much editing I'm realistically going to be doing for this series because I enjoy playing the game too much. I'm just gonna say it. I've already recorded 4 episodes. Haven't edited a single one. Just working on it right now. Like a week after I started playing. Episode 4 has 3 hours of footage individually. So yes, I don't know how long or how much it's gonna take for these episodes to come out. I still wanted to get it to you guys. I'm having a lot of fun with this series, and I suspect it'll be maybe 7 or 8 episodes long if I had to guess. But it's a good time. Hope you guys enjoyed. Last little disclaimer, I record a lot of these videos very late. Because I record them late, I sound like I'm under the influence of unknown things. I promise I'm not. I am simply just tired. And so, yeah, when I start slurring my words, when I sound sleepy, it's because I am sleepy and am slurring my words due to my tiredness. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Hey, what's going on, guys? KillerCottyBZ here, and welcome to a brand new video game. This is Stellaris. Stellaris is a 4X strategy game that is all about your civilization becoming spacefaring and taking on the galaxy at large. So, to begin, we're going to have to create a new game, and here on the left are a ton of both created by me and also regen empires, but I think what we're going to do is we could play the United Nations of Earth, which is a pretty standard thing to play, but I think we'll create a new one and maybe have some role-playing elements to this. So, where do we start? Well, we're going to go ahead and choose a species here. Now, this used to not really matter what you did, but nowadays, different species appearances will change what traits you can use. So yeah, there's humanoids, there's mammalian stuff, machines, like all kinds of stuff, right? The one I actually wanted to try is cybernetic, and this is a part of the new DLC, Machine Age, which adds a ton of cool stuff. This guy's kind of funny to me. But there are so many things we could do. I also kind of like the way synthetics look, but let's see here. Out of these, I mean, I guess just like a human, but like cybernetic situation could be really cool. So now we need to come up with a species name. Normally, I like to do a little randomized situation, try and get some names. And actually, Corinth. Huh. I actually like the idea of Corinth. So yeah, all right, we'll do that. I don't really know there. Let's see, a background for the Corinth. We'll come back to that because it depends on everything else, I suppose. Let's see, humanoid. I mean, where's? Can we just do human? Yeah, we could literally just do this. Never really a downside to doing that in the first place. Cyberpunk. I mean, we do look kind of cyberpunky, don't we? All right, yeah, let's try that. Okay, so now we need to pick traits for our people. There are so many traits nowadays, and the way it works is we have 2 trait points currently. So if we pick agrarian, for instance, you'll see we don't have any trait points left, but we do have 4 picks left, whereas we had 5 initially. So you can't just start, spamming like only good things, right? Because again, we just don't have enough picks, especially points. So we need to somewhat balance it. And now looking at all of these, what are the Corinth good at? What do they do? Well, considering they are cybernetic, that makes me believe that I mean, to be honest, that makes me believe that they are probably intelligent. You know, they have a natural, they probably have some like neuron boosters and stuff, so maybe we can give them that. What else? I mean, they could potentially be strong. Yeah, they could definitely be strong. Oh, enduring. I like the idea of that. Our leaders will live an extra 20 years, which is pretty cool. Let's see. I want to pick one more positive one. Conservationist could actually be pretty cool. That could also be cool. Extra gain. All good things, all good things. I think what I'm going to do is take either thrifty or natural engineers. Let's see. If we take natural engineers, then we only need to pick 2 small negatives, whereas if we take thrifty, I really want to take thrifty. I'm not going to lie, we're going to do that. Okay, so what are going to be the downsides of the Corinth? The Corinth... You know, the leaders do live longer, so we could make them slow learners, and in fact, I don't hate that. And I actually also think... Oh, but they could be quarrelsome, you know. Huh. Not liking to move, actually. I mean, that does make sense, but unfortunately, we're going to have to pick a 2. A -2. So empire size from Pops. I'll explain what empire size does in the future, but right now, that's definitely not something I'm willing to do. Psychological infertility is an interesting one. So during War and Crisis, pop growth drops 30%. And honestly, I kind of like that pick. If I had to choose one of these, I think slow learners, because they're intelligent. Why would they be slow learners, you know? But yeah, during War and Crises, they, you know, don't do the deed. So yeah, they like to stay in one place. But yeah, I think that's a good thing. Okay. So now we need to pick our homeworld. And you know, I honestly kind of like the idea of it being, we could do like Alpine. Yeah, I kind of like the idea of that. So let's see. They're called the Corinths. So we'll have the star system be the system of Kor, just like our solar system is Sol. I mean, it's kind of basic, kind of plain, but we could just straight up have our home system be Corinth, and I kind of like the idea of that. Alright, so now we need to choose our different background cities. Now, this doesn't really have an impact, it's just visual, but we are kind of cyberpunk, you know, a little bit. So I think I want to go with something like that. And then this is also just background. But cyberpunk-esque. There's quite a few options we could have here. That being one of them. I mean, having pipes go through is honestly kind of cool. Yeah, I like the pipes going through. It makes it feel kind of lived in. Okay, so this is where it gets kind of complicated. So, this is the origin of our empire, which is essentially different scenarios for how we became spacefaring. And there are plenty of these, but I'm just going to go through ones that will give us a decent run and not make things too difficult. So the main one is prosperous unification. This will give us extra population, some extra districts, as well as a research option. Mechanist, this is essentially where we have had robots since the Steam Age, and so we're able to have robots with us all the time. And I actually don't hate the idea of this because, again, we are cybernetic, so it would make sense that we've had robots for a long time. And there are a lot of good ones here. Okay, so we are cybernetic. This is difficult. This is very difficult to figure out which one I want to go with. But honestly, I think we're going to do Mechanist. I like how it works in the lore of the people of Corinth. So let's go with it. All right, so now we need to start choosing our ethics and our government. And again, it's going to continue to get a little bit more complicated, but it's really not that bad once you get used to it. So there are different government types, from a corporation, which if I knew how to play megacorps, I would do, because I kind of like the idea of being an evil megacorp. But we have democracies, oligarchies, dictatorships, and also straight up empires. And you know, all of these have different benefits and stuff, from different faction approval rates to effective counselor skills, whatnot, right? Now, to be honest, all of these are pretty good. Democracy, for instance, has a lot of really powerful civics, but depending on what type you go with, you have completely different civics to choose from. Not even to mention the ethics, which also will contribute to which civics you can do, which have different bonuses. But I kind of like the idea of having an oligarchy, which means that there are a select few who are essentially in control of everything. And I kind of like the idea of a little council, or maybe the CEOs of the different firms here being in charge of everything that happens. But if that's the case, we need to be materialists. But if we've had automatons since the beginning, I think we need to be fanatic materialists. So there are a bunch of different ethics, from, you know, xenophiles, and the opposite would be xenophobes, authoritarian, egalitarians, militarists, pacifists, right? And then there's an extreme version which has even stronger empire modifiers. But what you'll notice is if we do materialist and egalitarian, we still have another ethics point left. So we could spend that on militarist, but we couldn't do authoritarian, because again, see how it's the opposite? So I like the idea of fanatic materialism with this empire, so we're going to do that. But then we do need to pick one more blue. Egalitarian, pretty useful. Extra specialist pop resources, really nice. Having extra faction resource as well, wonderful. But is it the best thing for us to go for? That's a great question. I don't know. We're definitely not authoritarian. I don't hate this. Like, I really don't hate that. This is tough. Xenophile could also be nice for the trade value. I definitely want to have some trade. But you know what? I think I'm gonna go with egalitarian. Yeah, I think I like that. Okay, now we have a ton of civics. And a lot of this is gonna be completely, if you're new to Stellaris, it's just gonna be like, what in the world is going on? There are plenty of YouTubers like Montu Plays or the Red King that make wonderful Stellaris content. If you guys would like to learn more about how, like, what all of this means, how to choose your empires and pick things, but realistically, I like the idea of us just starting from scratch, and especially with me not having to just tell everything, explain every little thing. So I did mention that it'd be cool to have like a little council that's in charge of everyone, but the modifiers I'm not exactly a huge fan of. So I think let's keep looking. So there's different ones, from, you know, police states to people who just want to live pleasurable lifestyles. Okay. Goodness, like, a lot of this is very good stuff. So merchant guilds is pretty fun, because trade value from traders is 0.4, and we are going to be very thrifty people, so I kind of like the idea of that. And I think I also, oh goodness, what do I want to do beyond that? I do kind of like the idea of functional architecture. Although it says that our building style is boring or depressing. Well, it's definitely depressing. I don't know if it's boring. And then, you know, Masterful Crafters is always good. So masterful crafters are functional. Masterful will definitely be a little bit more meta because it is good. And I mean, we are going trade, so honestly, we should do that. All right, now we have the voice. This doesn't really matter in terms of gameplay. It's just what do we want to hear.
Augmentations that haven't even hit the black market yet.
And essentially, when there's notifications, they'll talk. So yeah, we're cyberpunk. I've never done this before, a cyberpunk run, so we're definitely gonna go with this. Okay, now we do need to come up with a name for our empire, and I kind of like the Corinth Council. Very basic, or Council of Korinth. Yeah, I like that. So now we need to decide our flag and our colors. We'll go ahead and look at corporate, which I'm not a huge fan of any of those. Blocky dominations. Well, let's think, what do we do? What are our people known for? What is that? Is that a torch? That's interesting. Our people are going back to our traits. We're thrifty and intelligent and we live a long time, but we don't like to move. So maybe just like a rock. Should we just do like rocks? No, it doesn't really make sense. Let's see here. Honestly, I don't hate the idea of something like this, you know? Because, I mean, we're cybernetic, so that could be... Yeah, why not? Let's do that. Okay, now our primary color... I've always wanted to do a run with, like, this dark green-blue situation, so I think we're going to do that. But our alternate color, what do we... So many options. I actually kind of liked that, like just the slightly off contrast one. Also quite like that, to be fair. But you see, there's all kinds of really cool flags and designs you can make, so you can get pretty creative with how this looks. I honestly liked this one quite a bit. I just like how it kind of edges around it, so I think we're gonna go with that. All right, now we do have the ship design. Again, this is only appearance, but as you can see, there's plenty of different appearances here, which is always pretty cool for roleplay purposes. But again, cybernetic, so we're going to be going for the cybernetic ship set. And again, this is only for the appearance of it, but like, look how cool that citadel looks. And in time, you guys will know what all of this is, but yeah, that's good stuff. That is very good stuff, so we're going to go ahead and take that. Now, who do we want our leader of Corinth to be? I think initially, yeah, we'll go for a female. And her name is going to be West Native? Oh, wait, was it Veil Havoc? That was actually a really cool name. Chairwoman Veil Havoc. Okay, so she sounds chill. Let's see, we can change the hairstyles. How crazy do we want to go? That one's kind of cool, actually. We can also mess with the clothing. Cybernetic. I mean, honestly, none of these feel incredibly cybernetic to me. Chairwoman, though. This is probably the most suity of them. That's, like, not ridiculous. Evolution stage. Oh, whoa. Okay, wait, that changes things. Okay, I kind of love how that looks, actually. Alrighty. Finally, we have her trait. So there's different leader classes within Stellaris. So, principled, spycraft, and again, you can see the different bonuses on the left. I think that... What was her name again? Veil Havoc. I mean, if we want to think about Havoc, we could think about she likes to be kind of warfaring. But I think something else that could be useful is she has an eye for talent, and that's how she got in this situation in the first place. So we're going to go for that. And this is our empire. Okay, the Council of Korinth. We are an executive committee. Again, we have that small little council. We are fanatic materialists. And we focus on extra research speed, and our robots are cheaper. And our specialist pop resource outputs plus 5% with our factions performing better. We got merchant guilds, which give us extra trade value and merchant jobs. And then we also have masterful crafters, which again gives extra consumer goods and trade value and allows us to have an extra building slot for every 3 industrial districts. We're intelligent, we're enduring, we're thrifty. We don't like to move. And during war, we don't really smash as much. We're mechanists, so we have robots from the very beginning, and we're able to generate or create robot assembly plants, which is very useful. Cybernetic ships, and we're Tundra based. I love it. I love it. Did we already save it? Well, if we didn't, we definitely did now. So we now need to create our empire. So, or excuse me, our galaxy. So I think I want to play on. We'll do a medium. We'll do a medium galaxy. And for the sake of just keeping things as basic as possible, we're going to go ahead and play on elliptical, which is standard. Iron Man on, so we can't, save scum, save, and go back if we make a mistake. Like, our decisions are final. Low hyperlane density. This creates a lot of choke points, which I prefer. And let's take a look here at the amount of AI empires, advanced starts, one fallen. Yeah, I like all of this. Normal crisis strength. We'll have the mid-game scaling. None of this really means anything to you guys, so turn habitable worlds down though. Clusters, yes. Actually, we'll go 0.75 just in case. Advanced neighbors. Yeah, we don't want that on. That'd be very scary. But with that, welcome to Stellaris. Here we go, generating the galaxy, and I love the artwork and the music in this game, so even loading screens and whatnot are low-key a joy to be in. But here we go, the Council of Korinth. In the eons since the first primitive Corinth communities took shape on the windy plains of Corinth, our civilization has spread and prospered. The chaotic periods of our early history eventually gave rise to a new society which unified our people as none had done before. Succumbing neither to tyranny nor the ignorance of the masses, our society evolved into one that is ruled fairly by a just and unbiased bureaucratic machine. Now, after the discovery of the hyperlane network, the finest minds of the Council of Korinth have finished development of the first hyperdrives. The stars themselves are finally within our grasp. Okay, so welcome to Stellaris. Your entire game will take place within this map right here. Just kidding. But before we get to that, let's look at a few things. So, number one, every Stellaris system is going to either have a star or a black hole in the middle of the solar system, and it's always going to look like this. You have the different orbital rings, which show you, the amount of planetary bodies that are in the system. And underneath each planet, you'll have a different mineral count or some kind of resource. So the sun is producing energy credits because we have a mining station on top of it. This asteroid over here is doing the same thing, but with the minerals. But you can also see that because this over here, this 3 isn't green, we're not collecting them in any capacity. So to do that, we could get a construction ship and we could build a mining station, which will queue the robot to go do that, and then we'll begin to exploit those 3 minerals. But we're not going to do that right now for various reasons. But beyond that, we do have our capital here at Corinth, and this is the planet management screen. So the planet management screen is, I wouldn't say it's the most easy thing to look at. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of numbers. There's a lot of tabs. But again, once you get used to it, it's really not that imposing. So number one, over here we have buildings. Now the amount of buildings is dependent on numerous factors, but for right now you can think of the number of buildings and building slots being allowed by the number of city districts you have. As you see, if we build a city district, we get extra housing, which is this number right here, as well as some extra jobs. But that building slot is really what we want. We have 4 available jobs, and we can go to our population screen right here and see that the Corinth are indeed doing their deed, and in 24 months we'll get an extra pop, and pops fill up jobs. So you can see here we have 1 technician available, which produces energy credits, which think of that as just your money. And then we also have clerks, which produce trade value and amenities and some different things. But generally, it's funny. If you watch any Stellaris YouTuber who plays this game with any intent of min-maxing or playing the meta consistently and whatnot, they hate this job. They absolutely loathe it. So probably don't work this if you're trying to really min-max, but we are not. So what can we do? Well, initially speaking, oh, what is going on? Can I... Let's see, it would be like that, wouldn't it? Yeah. So the very first thing I like to do when we have 0 amenities, and amenities kind of dictate your stability and whatnot, but we're not really going to worry about that yet. I do like to make my capital a research planet in the beginning of the game, but for right now, we're not going to worry about that. Now, the galaxy screen. Here is our galaxy. We're somewhat near the galactic core, and obviously the Council of Korinth is right here in our system of core. Now, we can either go south to Tonrak, which is a size 15 tundra world, or go up to Shashamar for a size 14. Those are pretty small planets. Our capital, being a 21, is substantially larger. But I think let's go ahead and we'll queue our ship, and by holding shift and right clicking we can queue multiple things. We'll have our science ship survey both systems, and then after that we'll see where they can go. Something else I'm going to do is I'm going to take our military fleet that we start out with, and very, very small at the beginning of the game. You can see we just have 3 small corvettes right here. We're going to take them, and we are going to just go explore to try and chart out and find different hyperlink choke points that we might be able to exploit. Now, we also do need to pick our researches. So, number 1, we have physics, society, and engineering. Different types of research, all with their different research speeds and whatnot, and that's all based on the total research you bring in from your empire monthly. This game deals with months. You can see we're in 2200 right now. It is January 6th. So, what's the first thing we want to research? Well, considering our people are intelligent and we're going to leverage tech a lot, I think we're going to go with administrative AI. Society, okay, eco simulation. So farmers will give extra food, and Starbase extra food as well. Okay, ground defense planning, extra naval cap from jobs. This will be useful eventually, but early game doesn't really help. However, planetary unification, granting a small amount of unity as well as extra unity in general. And also leading down the administrative path, absolutely, we're going to take that. And then finally, we have our engineering one. Now, there's multiple ways we could go here. There's, completely... There's a whole bunch of things we gain from this, but torpedoes are useful, but they're kind of niche, so we're not going to do that. Could do afterburners, which is going to make our ships faster and give us extra evasion. This can be incredibly useful. And then we also have robomodding. It'll add permanent habitability, but it's going to take 80 months compared to 50. We're going to start with fancier armor. We're going to unpause and set the speed to fast. So if we want to, we can actually go and watch our little science ship here. That looks really cool, doesn't it? We can watch our little science ship go, and he will go to different orbital or heavenly bodies, and he will scan them. So you can see here, he's scanning them. And after our science ship has scanned them, it'll move on and continue scanning, and it might find different resource deposits, if I could speak. So what's the very first thing I want to do? Well, the very first thing I want to do is actually create... Oh, we have another planet here. Another tundra. Is that 3 tundra? Wow, that's incredibly lucky. In every Stellaris start, you're supposed to have 2, unless you turn it off. You're supposed to have 2 matching planet types guaranteed, and then a third will be somewhere else, but it's going to be a different type. But we ended up rolling that. Oh, and it looks like the Schleen system right here has a mega structure that was ruined. Megastructures are really powerful buildings that take many, many years to complete. So I guess we must be near an old civilization that did well. But we're going to move a construction ship over to this system for reasons that you guys will see relatively soon. And with that, let's go ahead and look at the third cure here. Our military fleet, that for right now, the sole purpose of you guys is just to map out what's going on. Looks like there's also a black hole over here, but okay, we have our first little situation, the discovery of alien life. The ISS Probe 11 has made a startling find on Tanarak 3. The planet is teeming with alien life. For the first time in history, we have encountered life forms that did not originate on Corinth. This amazing discovery has silenced those who believed we were alone in the universe. Although none of the alien creatures found on Tonrak 3 are sapient, it is only a matter of time before we encounter beings that are, and we may not be alone out here. Wow, so that means that there are life forms over here on Tonrak 3. And we do actually have a tradition, and the Council of Korinth is abuzz with news. Yeah, and we're contemplating a lot of things. But we cannot colonize this planet because it's not within our borders. However, I do want to start working on this colony ship early. So we're going to go here and we're going to queue a colony ship through our shipyard. And shipyards are a part of the stations, and these stations will be on top of every sun of the empire within your borders. But we do have to pick a tradition now. So, again, lots of screens, lots of things. Traditions essentially dictate the different bonuses and the direction of your empire in a sense. So there's tons of things from like adaptability, and there's a little thing that tells you know what it does when you adopt it versus what it does when you finish it and whatnot. So yes, there's so many things we can do. I think the thing I want to do most is initially going mercantile. Now, that is a strange one to go for off the rip in general, but you know, the flourishing of entrepreneurs paves the paths to Corinth prosperity. I really like the idea of that.
They sure like to keep up appearances.
And there's that advisor voice. So yeah, we do have new edicts that we can use, but we're not going to worry about any of that. We're also not going to worry about policies for right now because everything is looking fine up here. But yeah, we'll go ahead and unpause. We do have our council here, but we'll deal with that in a bit. Okay, here we go. So, looks like we do have a situation on our hand. Centuries ago, a group of radical priests and their devoted followers on Corinth broke away from the established religions to form their own church. These extremists called themselves the Fist of God and have been responsible for many atrocities and acts of terror over the years. Although they have kept a low profile in modern times, we recently learned that many of their agents have infiltrated our military. These renegades have secretly been diverting resources to the construction of a small fleet of starships at a hidden facility on Corinth. When their treachery was revealed, the cultists blasted into orbit on their ships and fled to cyber spectrum. So this is going to begin the Fist of God event chain. They must be stopped. So if we go here to our system, you can see they fled to this barren world towards the edge of our borders, and they have a fleet power of 179, which is above the 153 of our ships. But we're definitely going to want to deal with those guys, but honestly, they're not going to do anything for a bit, so I want to see what this last system is. Then after that, we're going to send them to come fight them. And even though, based on fleet power alone, they should win, and they probably would, it's going to pull our starbase, which is significantly stronger, into it, and then we'll handedly win. So we'll just let things progress, as it were.
Secrets are ours.
And you can see here, so Tonrak has been fully surveyed, which is wonderful. And you can see here that our science ship is actively trying to evade that system for numerous reasons. But all is well in that sense. All is well. Alrighty. So with that going on, oh, more ocean worlds, and it looks like it's just going to continue, which is very intriguing indeed. So, habitable world survey. We now know without a doubt that a thriving biosphere is not something unique to Corinth. Both the scientific community and the public at large are eager to learn more about the various forms of alien life found throughout the galaxy. Efforts to catalog the life form we encounter are already underway, but our xenobiologists have urged us to focus on our planetary efforts on habitable, life-bearing worlds. And I think we are going to say that this is a commendable initiative, and this will begin a habitable worlds event chain. We can go here to situation log to look at it. We just need to scan 8 habitable worlds. Well, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, and 4 just like that, which is very cool. It's going to take our military fleet an entire year to get over there, which seems kind of dangerous, but such is life. Here we go. Now that this system is fully scanned, we can actually take our construction ship and build a starbase. This is going to take both influence and alloys. Right now we have enough of both, so we'll begin to build that. And it's actually pretty cool because you can see the starbase kind of work out. But our council agenda is ready. When we launch this, it is going to increase our citizen pop by, or our pop happiness by 10%, which is lovely. And we have all kinds of different things here, from mechanical pop speed, assembly, which actually that could be really useful now that I'm looking at it. So could extra unity. I think I want to expand the council. We want to... Oh, but so could faction approval, because that's going to give us extra unity. Huh, there's a lot of things with this. I think we're going to go for the faction approval because the unity is going to be very, very useful. But let's look here on Corinth. We'll let time go by while we do this. Our consumer goods and our alloys are quite low, so there's part of me that wants to build an extra district, and honestly, I think I am going to do that.
We've constructed something game-changing.
Yes, we did. So now, with the construction of this starport, we can see here that we're able to colonize Tonrak 3. Our colony ship is going to be done in 3 months, so we'll let that pass, and we'll go ahead and just move our construction ship to follow our science ship, so we can now grab that system up there. But our head of research is leveled up. So, head of research, again, they are on the council if there's any kind of title like that. Each time they level up, it just increases our research speed in general. They are also on our science ship, so we could increase the survey speed, increase the anomaly speed, or archaeology excavation speed. Considering right now we're just focusing on surveying, I'm going to go with that. It's just going to speed it up ever so slightly, which is a lovely situation to be. But our chairwoman, Veil Havoc, is also now leveling up. So as a counselor, all leaders will gain 10% extra. We also have increased edict fund as well as lower upkeep or -5, essentially saving money. I like the idea of our leaders getting experience faster. We did discover a new archaeology site. Where is this? Looks like this is on the moon of Puranos, and then that's 7A. So the vast frozen wastelands of Puranos 7A were once seas spread atop an abundance of deep volcanic canyons. Though the environment is no longer capable of supporting life, we have detected the ruins of ancient submarine settlements in icebound trenches close to the planet's surface. Well, that's really cool. So it looks like there were submarines there at one point. Unfortunately, we have much bigger fish to fry, like putting our colony. So, because, like I said earlier, our science ships or civilian ships will try and avoid, you know, the different, like, they'll try and avoid contact. I kind of want to do something insane here, and I kind of want to draw I want to kind of draw it into the starbase, but our fleet's going to be here relatively soon. So what I'm going to do is turn it to passive, and we will manually route where our colony ship is going so it doesn't draw them in. Yeah, this is lovely stuff so far, but it does look like our fleet is going to be in relatively soon. So they're on a direct trajectory for this military fleet. And we do have an upgrade, actually, or level up on our commander, who is going to fight this squad. So we could have daily hull regen and armor regen. That's such a small percentage. I don't really find it that useful, at least at this stage in the game. But a combat disengagement chance of plus 40, yeah, that could be good for preserving our fleet. So actually, we will go with that. And then our Minister of State also has some extra things here. All of these are quite good. A free artificer job that adds trade value amongst other things. So let's go ahead and do that. But here we go. If I can navigate this, which I am really struggling to do. So you can see here our ships are currently fighting. The space station is shooting as well. And I mean, this is very fascinating. Oh, there we go. Our combat is won. We didn't lose any. But right here, we do have the debris. And there's traces of components as well. So if we get a science ship, then that means we could scan this, which could be very, very useful, actually. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have it survey the system, and then after that, research the projects. Then after that, go survey that one. Something I kind of would like to do, and we'll go ahead and have our colony ship come and colonize Tunrak 3 and turn it to Tunrak Prime. Something I would like to do is have more exploratory vessels. So we're going to go ahead and create a science ship to do that. And in the meantime, there is debris, but I believe there's also the ability to board the ship. So let's go ahead and send, let's see here. Are we able to, okay, let's research and board the cultist ship. A little unnerving. We do have an extra science ship now, so we're going to have to hire a new person. The upkeep's going to be 2. We're not making much unity, but hopefully that'll change with the introduction of a few things. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and recruit them, and let's have them begin surveying, and then we'll have them automatically survey. So we'll have them wait, and pretty soon I believe we should.
A new colony.
There we go. Okay, so we go over here at Tunrak Prime. Our colony ship is gently touched down on the wide, empty steppe of Tunrak Prime. The chosen landing site lies behind a large ridge where it shelters from the cold wind, and there's an open body of fresh water not far away. The ship has been permanently converted into an administrative headquarters of the new settlement, and its reactor core is in the process of being moved so that it may serve as the colony's temporary power source. Hundreds of small tents and prefab shelters have sprung up around the former starship's massive hull as colonists begin to disembark in large numbers. The first Corinth city on an alien world. A great day for the Council of Korinth. So they're going to take some time colonizing and getting used to things. But we can't worry about silly planet colonization. We have to worry about boarding action. Though the survivors offered stiff resistance, our boarding party was able to secure several prisoners from the disabled cultist starship. From them, we have learned that this conspiracy goes far deeper than we initially suspected. The agents of the Fist of God include several flag officers and high-ranking officials within our government. Mass arrests are being made on Corinth, and all assets belonging to this cult have been seized. However, several of the starships they built in secret remain unaccounted for, and the upper echelons of the cult's leadership have vanished. We have picked up faint ion trails leading to several outlying systems. We're going to have to pursue them, but unfortunately we don't know where it's at. Now in a bit, the Council of Korinth ship is going to go and scan the debris here, which is going to be available for a few years. Oh, we do have a ruined world. So the ISS Calyx 5 crew have reported the presence of a small decaying orbital stations and multiple tomb worlds near the Stellaris system. Whatever interstellar nation once inhabited the Stellaris system appears to have collapsed into ruin long ago. Fallen Outpost is a junkyard of a planet covered in the irradiated, rusting remnants of demolished buildings, infrastructure, and vehicles. No higher forms of life are recognizable. We must gain more insight into this lost civilization by surveying any similar planets and neighboring systems. So this is going to discover the Podonus system and add an anomaly. So we have multiple tomb worlds here, and I wonder if it's related at all to the megastructure that we found over here maybe the spacefaring civilization that was here spanned, you know, this vast area, which would be really cool. We can see up here that we have tons of trade value, but our unity is really bad. And while food is negative right now, I'm not too worried about it because we could simply buy it. But since we are making so much money, I'm gonna go ahead and purchase minerals monthly. The Council of Korinth is abuzz with news of alien remnants that were recently studied. These remains are considered definitive proof of intelligent, purposeful alien activity at some point in the past. We may still be alone now, but we are at least not the first to be so. Okay, so we know that there was some kind of alien life in the past, but now we have to decide our first contact protocol. So, our recent encounter with alien life forms has reignited and made suddenly more urgent the old debate on how we should approach contacting any potentially intelligent alien civilizations we may meet. While some advocate focusing on establishing friendly relations as quick as possible by contacting them with a message of peace, others advise caution, pointing out that we cannot know whether aliens will bear ill intent towards us or whether it would be unwise to let them know too much about us before it's necessary. A third, more radical group pushed for preemptive action against them. With the security of all Corinth at risk, they say, we dare not hesitate to take whatever measures necessary to gain the upper hand against any potential Xeno threat. Now, we have plenty of things we can do, and they have different, first contact protocols. I quite like the idea of us greeting them with open arms because our council is thinking of profit. They're thinking, how much can we gain from this? And I mean, if Corinth isn't enough, imagine if we could spread our trade value to other empires. So we're going to greet them with open arms. Now, with that, I am going to take our fleet again. Oh, when we actually did find, I think, the precursors we've been thinking about. We have recovered artifacts from an ancient alien civilization on Fallen Outpost. They must have been active in this region approximately 12 million years ago, judging by the age of the artifacts. From what they have been able to piece together, our scientists theorize that these aliens, who call themselves the Voltam Star Assembly, were worm-like annelids, roughly 3 to 4 meters in length, that communicate with each other primarily through vibrations carried among their segmented bodies. Interesting, but also horrifying. So it looks like the Voltam were in this area for a long time.
More space for a mega block is available.
More space for a mega block. Now, there's something I want to do, and that is going to be to build multiple research labs. So we're going to do that because research is very important. It's one of the things that progresses the game the most, and so by queuing both of these on our main planet, as you can see, it'll provide 2 researcher jobs, and it'll produce roughly 8 research of all the different categories, so that'll add 16 to our research up there, which is very useful. We can see that Tonrak Prime has relatively balanced district layouts, and each planet has different district layouts. So you can see over here that Poneros 3 has quite a few mining districts, but
the system has been
and by quite a few, it literally means like one more in this situation, which is quite funny. But it doesn't have as many generator districts and whatnot. And we don't know what the Tundra world over there looks like, but I think initially, let's go ahead and make Tonrak 3 a most likely an industrial world. So we'll see what that looks like. But we can build an outpost over here in Parnos to claim it for ourselves. I also think something I'm going to do is build another construction ship. But oh my gosh, the cultist marauders, we've encountered them. They're in the Bagol system, and they are moving to intercept us. No, no, our fleet is in danger. But we have made first contact with the mysterious aliens in the Bagel system. For now, we've codenamed them the Lambda aliens until we can find out more about them. If they possess a language, we'll decipher it in order to establish communications. So, let's take a look. There's a lot of things going on. So, news of alien ships have already made it to Corinth. And it's the first chapter in a book of the Council of Korinth's bid for a stellar empire. Well, let's go ahead and assign meta image to make contact with the Lambda aliens. And let's see what our situation is over here. Oh, this is an incredibly close battle in terms of pure fleet power. Let's see how we stack up. Put it on normal speed. My goodness. Okay, so it looks like we've already stripped the shields off of them, and we're starting to do hull damage. Oh, are we going to get one of the ships? That would be huge for us. There we go. One of the ships is down, which means we can focus on the other ones even more. Oh, now we just have the one. All weapons firing on the one cultist ship. Sending those missiles, and boom! We've destroyed the cultist fleet. That's wonderful for us for a multitude of reasons. Let's see. Combat computer there. We're not really worried about that. We're going to go ahead and send the fleet back to Kor to repair. So they're going to head back. And in the meantime, let's take a look at the fact that we have a new construction ship. I think the best thing to do, we'll keep you with you, but we're going to send this ship over here to follow this science ship, and we're going to try and expand our borders as much as possible here. So things are going pretty well. I'm still not liking how low our unity is, and we have 0 factions, which doesn't help. Factions are very helpful for unity gain. In 8 months, we'll be able to look at some things. But we've analyzed some debris. We got a whole bunch of research, as well as a little bit of progress on a new research. But things are progressing at a decent rate. We're definitely not expanding our borders as much as we could be, but I want to go ahead and colonize these planets as much as possible. So let's go ahead and get Parnassos. Probably going to rename that, but Parnassus Prime. I definitely was not pronouncing that correctly. But we do have an anomaly event here. So one of our science ships in the Shashamar system has found a large machine of unknown origin and purpose. It's going to take 180 days to research it, but this will also help us level up. And so I think I am going to go ahead into it. That is going to mean that they stop surveying for the time, but that's okay. Looking here, we did pull a bunch of our jobs off of technician to fulfill the requirements of the researchers, which is hurting us temporarily. And our fleet actually was repaired, which is good. Now, there's also the military aspect of the game with different fleet designs for each ship. I am going to go ahead and create picket ships with flank battery, which will be able to shoot down missiles amongst other things. And then we're going to put some lasers on. And lasers do less damage to shields, but they do extra hull damage and armor damage. We'll leverage extra armor, give shields, and we're going to save it, and we'll go ahead and upgrade or retrofit our ships when that's available. But okay, we've completed our first research. Administrative AI, extra research speed, but the upkeep is more expensive. We're going to go ahead and take surveying speed. We want to try and map out as much of the space around us as possible, and we're also going to take adaptive economic policies within our mercantile tradition tree, granting new policies when it comes to our trade value. So going here to government policies, trade policy is currently on wealth creation, so each trade value earns 1 energy, very useful. However, marketplace of ideas will allow us to gain unity as well. And so I really want to leverage that to fill out our tradition trees, although our economy is going to suffer, definitely short term from it, but long term this will be better. And then there's also one that produces consumer goods, which is useful for unity buildings as well as research buildings, but that's not going to be a problem really because we do have the Masterful Crafters Civic. But let's go ahead and see how much that affects our economy. It's pretty negative, but we are buying a bunch of minerals. So let's go ahead and just drop that by 10. And looking at this, okay, so fleet command limit refers to how many ships can we have in a single fleet. So right now it is 20, and that is a fixed number. You cannot go beyond that within one fleet. But looking at the rest of this, we also have some things such as extra popular speed or edict fund. Pops are amazing in Stellaris. They're vital for your empire to succeed. So we're going to go with that. And we did actually finish research in the Sterile system. but we're lacking the alloys to be able to produce a outpost. So what we might go do here is we'll buy some alloys, which will help us do that. And in order to counteract our temporary situation, let's go ahead and sell some consumer goods. And we'll see what that does at the turn of the month. But further scans suggest the machine is still operational, though its purpose remains entirely unclear. Our officer has never seen anything like it. It's definitely alien design, and it appears to be a console. A large cooked lever of an unknown material, so we can either pull it or take it apart. Well, our people are intelligent, so this could be incredibly useful learning how it works, or we could also pull it. It's a large machine, but I am weary of what it's going to do, so we're just going to take it apart for now. It's going to give us some extra resources amongst other things. Now, I believe, yes, already have a planned colony.
Free real estate.
And we do actually have a colony now, and I think we may have just had some factions pop up. No, we're just getting a whole bunch more from trade now, and we weren't getting that before. So we can have clerks produce extra trade value and amenities, and yeah, that's incredibly useful. But I think for the time being, let's just go ahead and boost our trade by 10. But we do have Tonrak Prime here. The first thing I'm going to do is build a robot assembly plant. This is going to turn alloys into mechanical pops, which is going to be incredibly useful, especially later on. Initially, not quite as good, but that's okay. And then we're also going to build an industrial district for some jobs. I think that's a good place to start. And so here we go. Okay, so we found some new aliens, but in the Okul system, they are hostile. It's hard to tell what they are exactly. Maybe some ancient drones or something, but we'll go ahead and send Nyx over there to try and figure out who they are.
Time for some new chrome.
Now, with that, where are our science ships? We have 2 over here. I don't like how you're running away, so I guess we're just gonna manually have you survey what's going on. But let's take a look at our engineering right here. We could have our military build speed increase significantly. Extra mining resource output, yeah, very useful. I think we're gonna take machine template system. This allows us to mod our robots. Let's go ahead and upgrade our fleet. It's gonna put the new armor on. Very, very useful. With that, and hopefully with the ship coming back, and yeah, it is, pretty soon we should be seeing some success in terms of our economy progressing, amongst other things. But yeah, let's go ahead and add the robot assembly. We do have a roboticist now, so next month we should start seeing some assembly. There we go, our robots are starting to be created. Very, very useful. Let's take a look over here. You know, none of these are incredible in terms of what they're doing, but our head of research does have some new things. We're going to go for extra survey speed, as per usual. And Parnassos Prime is in a different sector, but it's because it's not connected to our capital. So once we start or finish scanning in this system, we will be able to add it to our empire, and all will be well. Now, in the meantime, we do have all these untapped resources. I generally don't touch them for a while. I don't really see a point in it. They take energy credits, and eventually it'll be worth grabbing, but for right now, early game, that energy could be used elsewhere. So we're going to ignore it for the time being. With that being said, we'll go ahead and move our construction ship over there to assist Calyx 5 in the exploration and expansion of our borders.
Something's out there off-grid.
So caught in the orbit of Odin 863 is a small unknown object moving at such a high speed it beggars belief. Interesting. Well, I would normally say yes, but this system has been a bane in our existence, so we're going to leave B for now. We want to try and expand our borders and make sure everything's connected, but we have made progress with the Ta aliens. So we've discovered a new life form. Though calling it a life form may be incorrect. The entities appear to be fully automated mechanical drones built exclusively for some unknown industrial purpose. Observations will continue, but since it's likely that these machines are programmed with defensive protocols, it would be prudent to tread lightly. Keep looking, but use caution. We've also found fossils on Tonrak Prime. There were life forms indigenous to Tonrak Prime, and they lived 3.6 million years ago. They evolved into their own biosphere and were sapient, but apparently all of them have found a violent end. Well, that is interesting. So that's another archaeological site. I believe on our main planet, right? Let's take a look here. Yeah, so I'll have to take a look at that eventually. But again, right now we have some different situations going on. And looking at this again, I honestly might make this a rural world, which is going to give us some different bonuses. So rural worlds will make it so all of the 3 basic resource districts will be cheaper, or excuse me, build faster, and it will produce output by 10%. But we could also go for a mining world, which will just straight up give extra resources from miners. But take a look on that. We have an available trait for Veil Havoc. This leader gaining extra experience would be good. I mean, she is the head of our civilization. Okay, the Lambda aliens. So far it's been in vain, and while we were easily able to ascertain they're clearly from a technologically advanced civilization, further facts have proven elusive, as they seem to be going to considerable effort to prevent us and any eavesdroppers from intercepting any signals from them. We have therefore only managed to intercept small fragments of their language so far. However, from the glimpses we have gleaned, our linguists are confident they'll be able to decipher communications and acquire a greater sample size. We'll just have to keep looking. And our Minister of Defense is going to gain further council speed for us to push out these edicts. Now, we are absolutely going to produce yet another colony as fast as possible. Having 3 early on is very nice. And, you know, how long is it going to take? 63 months. That's going to take slightly too long in my mind, so let's go ahead and look into improved deflectors. And we do have a science ship that's just chilling for right now, but let's go ahead and turn on automatic surveying. Hopefully it'll do a better job than our other one. But I'm going to let things run for a while, and I will be back when something interesting happens.
The system has been cased.
Alrighty here, so we do have a new research society has finished. Off-world trading company produces 2 research for, or 2 trade value for each trade hub, which is a building on a starbase. Gene clinics are interesting. It gives a ton of things, improves habitability amongst other things, but I think I'm just going with eco simulation. While our pops get bigger, we're gonna have to deal with food eventually, and that's just gonna be helpful. We're also going to do traders, which produce extra amenities, and all of these things are going to produce trader jobs, which is very useful. Our new colony is also finished over here, which is very useful. Again, robot assembly plant pretty much immediately. Let's see. We're about to produce another colony ship from here. There we go. It's sent going, I guess, north technically. We'll take the extra consumer goods as well, and it's actually going to add another artificer job, which is going to increase trade value even more. Lovely stuff indeed. And we're getting pretty close. Oh, wait, what? Why? Oh,
The system has been
the
cased.
Lambda aliens have indeed built a star system there. So we're a little hesitant about that. So let's go ahead and upgrade this outpost to a starport. It'll be a little bit more formidable in combat if they are to be hostile. with that, I think something that could be incredibly useful wouldn't be... I guess it could potentially be expansion that way, but realistically, I think this is where we're going to want to start shifting down instead. So let's begin to do that.
Booting up a new colony.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Be here, so we're about to get a robot pop. I think for the time being, I would actually like the extra minerals, so we'll go ahead and do that. And eventually I'll probably turn into a mining world. Oh! So they were ancient drones, so they've been there for hundreds, if not thousands of years.
External uplink established.
And now we know what they are. Okay. Lovely. The Lambda aliens are just flying around doing their thing. We still know very little about them, but we may know something about them soon. Let's go ahead and continue expanding our borders, but a faction has finally been founded. Okay, this is going to help with unity. A new faction has recently been gaining traction in the internal political landscape of the Council of Korinth. They call themselves the Academy of Advanced Sciences. Their members have been pushing hard for the advancement of the sciences. A disgruntled faction will be a source of trouble, one that proves government's actions that approves of them, could be very useful. Agreed. And we also have the full and enfranchisement group. Okay. Let's take a look at these two factions. So, the Academy of the Advanced Sciences wants AI to be allowed, wants a ruler to have their ethic and also be represented. All of that is fulfilled. Therefore, they are producing unity. We're going to promote that faction for our populace because they align with us. And we also have the faction of full enfranchisement. Very interesting. Anti-autocratic, very free movement. They want us to have benevolent subjugation, which I'm not entirely for, actually, and ruler has an empire ethic. We're not going to touch that either. We're not going to try and appease any of those, but we are going to promote both of them because it will give us unity. So we can see right there, our unity just jumped a whole bunch, which is lovely. And we have communications with the Wasarian technocracy. Okay, so they are fanatic xenophobes, so they hate us, but they are also materialists. So maybe we can find some cooperation, which would benefit us all. The news that we have encountered intelligent alien life for the first time has been received with mixed feelings by our populace. This confirms what we had long suspected: we are not alone in this galaxy. Each new alien species we encounter represents both an opportunity and a threat. We must be wary. These particular Xenos have a level of technology similar to our own, indicating that we may achieve spaceflight roughly at the same time. This does indeed change everything. We also have waterless canyons. Canyons deep enough to be seen from orbit furrow the surface of Benami 2, yet this planet is as dry as a dust bowl. What could have happened to the water that once so profoundly carved Benami 2's stone? Let's find out. I also would love to establish an embassy, but unfortunately we know nothing, or we have no basis with the Wasarians. So we're going to send Meta Image over there to improve relations. Essentially setting up an envoy there. And are we going to be able to establish an embassy? Potentially. What we could do as well is just send them something. So we do have a lot of consumer goods. So maybe we'll just send, 30 consumer goods. Let's see if they accept it.
Build job complete.
The Wasarian technocracy accepts this gift with gratitude. Now, let's see. Okay. It doesn't look like they're immediately going to jump to being our friend, which is quite sad. But I do really need to run this ship up here as soon as possible to try and prevent them from expanding that way, because I would like those 2 planets that we can eventually terraform. That is wonderful. Please, by all means. So it's a metamorphic dehydration. Following a thorough investigation of Benami 2, the ISS Probe 11 crew has confirmed that the planet used to be covered in flowing water several billion years ago. However, the geochemical composition of the planet's basalt crust proved highly hydrophilic, so much so that Benami 2's thirsty rocks eventually absorbed and bound all water on its surface. Now all that remains of these vast oceans are salty brine streaks lining Benami 2's numerous canyons. I almost said crayons. Science Officer El Zane adds that the mineral hydrates now dominating Benami 2's landscape could have valuable industrial applications. Well, it's pretty useful for extra minerals that we can exploit eventually. And that eventually might be somewhat soon, although I really need to get exploring and whatnot up there, like, as soon as possible. Are we able to establish an embassy? We are, so let's go ahead and send that. And they accept it, which is lovely. So that's going to build even more of a rapport, actually, and it's going to allow intel into their civilization, which is very, very useful. I could expand currently, but I'm going to wait because I want to make sure I have the influence in the alloys up here in the Schleen system. But we do have a star base that's ready, but Veil Havoc wants to talk to us. Okay. As a result of Veil Havoc's astounding scientific discoveries, the rate at which we conduct research has accelerated. Her findings are a hot topic in the scientific community, which now recognizes Veil Havoc as a thoughtful leader. So, wow, 10 extra research speed percent for 10 years, as well as experience, as well as a lot of sciences in general. Okay, Veil, let's go. And honestly, I kind of want you to go even crazier. Add 5 more research speed. With that, let's go ahead and build an extra city district so that way we can build another research lab. And we're also going to remove 2 industrial wastelands, which is going to give us a faster growth speed amongst other things. Let's go ahead and buy some minerals and we'll build an industrial district on this new planet, which I believe, yeah, might as well. You are definitely going to become a forge world, actually, to build up our alloy. Well, no, we'll do industrial because we can sell consumer goods, and we'll actually up this to 10. But we do have a new tradition, insider trading. Lovely. That's something we definitely want to do, insider trading. But that means we unlock an ascension perk. Now these are very powerful single pick things that give our empire numerous bonuses. So Lord of War, this will give us our ability to create a mercenary enclave, as well as adding diplomatic weight from fleet power, which could be useful, and they'll be more likely to pay dividends if they're within our borders. Interstellar Dominion makes claiming systems cheaper. Technological Ascendancy adds even more research speed, and rare technologies appear 1.5 times the normal rate. I quite like that. One Vision is one of my favorite ones, actually. Extra Unity is useful. Pops using less amenities useful. Master of Nature. This one is relatively poor. However, I kind of like it, to be honest. I kind of like it because our planets are so small, and so that's absolutely something we could consider. So I think it's between Master of Nature and Tech Ascendancy, but considering we're so research focused, we're going to go with that. Okay, so we're working on the city districts. We do have this system, which I'm pretty much immediately going to turn into a mining world. Yeah. Alrighty, so we've finished our robo-modding, which is lovely, but now we need to decide what do we want to do beyond that. Frigates, geothermal fracking, new guns. We'll go for the fracking. Extra minerals is very useful.
Game-changing upgrades incoming.
Oh, we have a lot of things. Okay, supply in the Schleen system. I like shipwrecks, but we need to cut off them as soon as possible. Okay, so hydroponic farming, as soon as you see this, pick it up. It allows you to build hydroponic bays in your star bases, which is just free food monthly. Very useful. Honestly, I think, how much will it take? Part of me wants to expand south. Oh, Vale did get a negative trait. -5 diplomatic weight. That's unfortunate, but it's also something we're not going to have to worry about for quite some time. So we can deal with that. And I am going to go ahead and build an outpost, I think. By the time that Schleen is completely surveyed, we should have enough influence to create a new base. But Shashamar Prime is actually going to be done pretty soon. Now, got a lot of stuff. Okay, so I did want to say, in the XCOM series, I would play the game for hours, split it up into different videos. You guys didn't really get to interact. At least with this episode, I can't make promises in the future, but with this episode, I would love if you guys would give me recommendations for the different planet names. Nothing insane, but if you guys just want to, like, do maybe a username or just like a cool sci-fi name or just anything, let me know, because Shashamar, Parnassos, and Tonrak, I mean, Tonrak isn't that bad, but the other ones are really rough. We do finally have time to launch the agenda. This is going to make it so our factions produce more unity, amongst other things. And we need to look at what we want to look into next. I think the idea of a commercial pack being more efficient would be cool, because we could make a commercial pack with the Asarians, but honestly, I think we need to expand the council. And the Shashahar Prime one is up. Again, robot assemblies, not that hard of a challenge. And let's see, we're making quite a few things here. I think I want to go ahead and actually build another mining district. I think that's going to be really beneficial for
We've
us.
Constructed something game-changing.
Lovely, and I am going to actually spend the resources to have you build that mining station for the 5 energy credits. That's going to be very useful for us. Okay, so what do we know about you guys? You do have overwhelming fleet power compared to us, but, you know, relatively positive, so we will take it. Okay, lovely. Build that outpost.
Game-changing upgrades incoming.
Okay, we have improved deflectors now, which is lovely. We can also get increased energy credits, which could be useful. And there's also ancient precursor civilization signs. We're going to leave that for now. 1400 days is simply way too long of a time. We're going to take the blue lasers because we do use lasers on our ships, which, speaking of ships, they're going to be upgraded.
Fleet augmented.
Lovely stuff. And with that, let's go ahead and automatically survey here. You are currently making that. Move. There we go.
Planetary features augmented.
And I love the fact that we have 4 planets just immediately within our core system. I mean, that's incredibly nice.
Build job complete.
And our build job's complete. It actually looked like they had a... Oh, right here. They had a construction ship ready. But we're going to go ahead and fortify this starbase as well, just to ensure that they don't try anything funny. And we'll go ahead and start building a few mining stations, because we do need the materials. Our economy right now isn't looking the greatest. But with that, I think that this would honestly be
planetary features augmented.
A relatively good time for us to stop. We'll go ahead and build another research lab. And I'm still not sure what I want these planets to be necessarily. Lots of decisions to make, but what I will say is I would like to put hydroponic base on first. So, you know, let's go ahead and do that first, and then let's have you research. We're lacking the influence. Oh, that's unfortunate. Now, we do get extra influence from power projection, which is essentially our overall military power. So what I might do is, you know, build a few more. So I'll take 500 alloys. We don't really have the alloys for that, which is kind of concerning. There's a lot of things we could do here. I would love to do cybernetics, but unfortunately we're going to have to research some more things and take an ascension perk. So that is not going to be where we are at currently. But our people are very, very keen on discovery. You know, we want research speed. We want to just have things make more sense. So
like to keep up appearances.
They do. Let's go ahead and do that. And there's a chance that this becomes a Shashamar Prime becomes a strict tech world eventually, but
the system has been cased.
I don't know yet. I'm not entirely sure. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and build. Oh, we're lacking the minerals, which definitely isn't ideal. Can we build it now? We can. We have a continental world down there, which is pretty cool. But our economy is doing okay. Positive in everything, but it's not incredible. We do have extra minerals here. Let's go ahead and get afterburners. That is going to give our corvettes even higher evasion, which is very, very useful. Let's build the or the mining station at that point so we can get extra monthly energy. We're relying quite a bit on trade. And we're still having to buy minerals, so yes, but a small celestial object, pronounced gaseous and particulate trails, was observed in the core system. Okay, so it's a little comet situation. Can we resettle our robots? We can, and honestly, I'd like this in the Baton Rack Prime. Which I don't know how much that just cost, but that's okay. Alright, so we are starting to get more minerals, which is very good. We're going to take the permanent naval capacity, which is the amount of ships we can have without negatives. Very, very useful. And over here, out of anything that we could have, I think I do actually want to make a strict tech world. And tech worlds make it so that researchers take less upkeep. So for that, we're going to have to build some city districts. So what I think I might do is let's go ahead and sell consumer goods. It's going to give us a lot of energy credits, which means we can now buy minerals. So go ahead and build 2 city districts there. And that's actually all we can do with that. You're going to build the energy station. Lovely. You're not doing anything, which
on a point of interest.
No, that's fine. I would like the Banami system, so we're gonna do that actually. Let's see. For the most part, everyone has jobs. Let's go ahead and build another mining district, and then over here, you guys really. We're definitely going to need more industrial things. Our alloy and consumer good production is pretty rough, but the head of research, extra research speed. You guys already know the drill. And then extra leadership gain on Calyx 5. We've detected life signs coming from somewhere beneath the barren and lifeless planet. What organisms could live there? Please tell me. Absolutely tell me. Go ahead and move Beta Ghost down. And you know, the Council of Korinth, we're having a very organic kind of spread to our borders. Okay, silicon life forms. Some kind of burrowing silicon-based life form inhabits a vast network of tunnels beneath the barren surface of Famnu 2. As best as we can tell, the creatures feed off rocks, and there's evidence to suggest they possess a rudimentary form of intelligence. Their tunneling efforts have shuffled large amounts of valuable minerals to the surface. It's going to add permanent minerals there, which is very lovely. Can we build this yet? No, we need extra, you guessed it, influence. So, very fun. There's part of me considering reinforcing the 3rd cure. I don't think I'm going to do it yet. Instead, I'd like to build... You know what? Let's go ahead and sell some food. We can build another industrial district. Oh. What's going on here? Oh, we have a building slot. Lovely. This is going to be a tech world.
The system has been cased.
But again, guys, we are missing that sweet, sweet mineral. So we're definitely have to focus on minerals, but again, we do have a direct planet for it, so in time as this fills up, it'll be good. But oh my gosh, the cultist marauders are back in Ebenar with 239 fleet power, so pretty close to what we have currently. And it's interesting, if we upgrade our ships, how do we compare?
Someone's trying to connect.
It's relative, but to be safe, I think we're going to reinforce our fleet. So we did gain blue lasers, which is lovely. And I think I'm going to go ahead and take... Let's see, how many are we getting from jobs? 42, that's not insane. Basic combat rolls is really useful, though. Non-aggression pact with the Wasarian. So I'm not opposed to it. The problem is non-aggression pacts take influence, and we're already struggling on it, so I'm going to decline it. Although it would build trust, and I would like to become friends. So let's just hold off. Let's just hold off. We know they're not going to kill us now. We're still building our relationship, which is really good. And let's go ahead and build all the necessary stations here. That's actually quite a few resources.
Something's out there off
An
grid.
unusually deliberate geometric configuration of minerals drifts through the debris fields left by R66893 and is possibly of alien origin. I believe that's all the way down here, yeah. Yeah, we actually do have another system, but we're missing out on that influence yet again. Alrighty, so extra survey speed, I mean, that would be really useful. Yeah, that would be really useful. Make it even faster. These guys are going to be zipping and zooming now. Lovely. The mineral construct is, for lack of a better term, a room made out of the same type of materials in common use in the council. Wow. Wow. Losing my voice. Made out of the same type of materials, common use. Made out of the same type of minerals in common use in the Council of Korinth. The construct is a hollow. Yep. Resonance scans indicate that it is mostly hollow and was likely inhabited at some point in time. Unlike its pristine exterior, the interior is in complete disarray, possibly the result of an intentional act of sabotage. Science Officer Pylon Zero reports that this makes it difficult to learn anything of value from the construct's insides, but stresses that engineering techniques involved in creating the outer shell, eminently capable of withstanding the stresses of deep space, must have been tremendously advanced. So, Pylon Zero is going to gain extra research speed for Voidcraft, and Voidcraft research options are 25% more likely to appear. Who is Pylon Zero? He's just a scientist. So for him to gain anything from that, he would have to be put as our head of research, which, to be honest with you guys, I am more than down to swap them out. Because Voidcraft is cool, so that's going to help with a lot of military applications, amongst other things. But, speaking of other things, I need to send my fleet up here to take on the alien menace. A terrible situation indeed. We still, I mean, they're very positive. I was scared, but what we can do is build 2 hydroponics bays. That's going to give us 10 free food per turn. And we do actually have afterburners. Oh, and we have iron thrusters, and we have... Okay, all things that could be very useful. I'm going to do plasteel, because that's likely to lead down the infrastructure path, yeah. In the future, we can definitely take a look-see and see what is going on.
Build job complete.
It's lovely stuff. Let's go ahead and start to build mining stations just to get better monthlies. But see, because we didn't, you know, spend like the 100 per system to up our monthlies, now we had like the raw amounts to, you know, build everything we need to on these planets initially and whatnot.
Build
So
job complete.
yes, build job is complete, but at what cost? Let's build 2 more research labs on Shashar Prime. We're lacking 5 right there. It's unfortunate.
We got a fix on a point of interest.
Okay, a large amount of ship debris can be found in orbit around this planet, possibly the remnants of some kind of massive fleet action. Please find out. Let's see how we do with this. Again, we have substantially upgraded corvettes. And it looks like we did not take any losses. So that is lovely stuff. Let's go ahead. Oh, requires a science ship. Okay, yep. Let's go ahead and go back and have them heal. Society research. Wow, we have a lot of noxious swamps, so that could be useful. That could be very useful, actually. Timed project. We don't really need the combat computer one. That's okay. Alright, there's clear evidence of a massive space battle that took place in close orbit of Theramora 4 at some point in the last 5,000 years. The surface on one side of the planet is pockmarked, I don't even know what that means, with craters from stray weapons blasts, and scans from the ISS probe 11 have picked up several hulks on the ground. What in the world? Though these wrecked ships are all in very poor condition, the fact that anything remains means that there is a sustained testament to their advanced design, and we could actually go and have a special project of the Mount Graveyard Expedition. Let's go ahead and research it. Takes, you know, about half a year. I think it could be pretty useful. Okay, looking here. We're doing better, getting a lot of minerals from jobs, and honestly that makes sense for right now. Our empire in terms of borders is quite compact, definitely. Man, those ancient mining drones are very, very strong compared to us, so maybe researching this drone study would be useful. In fact, it takes
We've
23 months. Let's
constructed
do it.
something
If it gives us
game-changing.
any insights, I think it'd be useful. Go ahead and build these stations as well for more
Something's
monthly
out there off
minerals.
grid.
Okay, in the Theramora system, there is significant scarring on the plane of this world in a pattern that cannot be natural. From orbit, the massive rifts look almost like writing. Wow, okay. On Tonrak, we have 10 people now, which means that we can actually build a planetary administration, which is going to produce a lot of things, actually. So to do that, I think we're going to sell some consumer goods and some food to buy the necessary alloys, and let's cue the construction of that. We do have unemployed workers. I'm going to send them to Tonrak again. It just costs 100 to move them, which is completely fine. We do need more minerals, so let's go ahead and have the mining district built first, then the planetary. Alien writing. Someone used a mining laser from orbit 5,000 years ago to carve a large body of writing into the surface of Theramora 3. The massive script covers a large portion of the planet's upper hemisphere and appears to be a short story chronicling the difficult life of an alien mercenary. Imagine just like having so much time on your hands, you're just straight up like building stuff like that. That's actually, I mean, that's insane. That is actually wild. I think we're gonna go back to buying a lot of minerals because that seems to be our main crutch right now. So we're negative in energy, which, okay, we'll drop it slightly so we're not negative. Here we go. It's a pretty balanced economy, honestly. We're getting plenty of food, so we could like, I don't know how much food we can sell. Let's try and sell 20. See how that does. Okay, lovely. It's going to lower the price of food. Oh, actually, it's relatively stable. Okay, good. Very strong economy for 20 in the game. I shouldn't say very strong, but by our standards, I am very happy with what is going on. So, ruler election, we can spend unity to guaranteed elect them. And if we do not interfere, a random candidate will be elected. I mean, it's not the end of the world if someone else gets it. And I'd rather not spend the unity, so we'll just let that be. Let's go ahead.
The system has been cased. We've constructed something game-changing.
The way they say that is like something cased. Whoa, Gaia world. Gaia world. Okay, we definitely want to try and branch up there. Yeah, that's lovely stuff. There we go. Let's also go to the newness system as well. They're on their way. Third cure, for the most part, is just chilling right now. Okay, and it does look like Vale was moved, unfortunately. Maybe fortunately, she had some pretty negative things. Infiltration speed and operation cost. See, I don't really care about that. So part of me wants to... Oh, I forgot Vale was a scientist. Yeah, that's unfortunate, but we can make Vale the governor of Shasham, which she is going to be able to boost the research of. So, in time, that will be completely okay. We have new traditions, though. We're going to take the extra alternatives. As we can see here, it didn't... Oh, 4. All right, there we go. Extra colony development speed doesn't really help us right now. Energy credits from technicians. We'll take the extra ones. And let's send our fleet back so they can be fitted with the newest stuff. Okay, because Vale's now governing, though, our science ship is useless. So I was wrong. You're just going to... You're just going to be used as a science ship lady, then. I was wrong. That's what I get for getting excited. Never get excited. Never have joy in your guys' life. That's like the best thing I can tell you. honestly, damage to
Another
ancient mining
firewall
drones up
cracked.
or extra mining station mineral output. Let's do the extra damage because I would love to expand down here. So that would be very useful. Man, you know, having the extra alloys would be really useful. So I think for now we're going to do that. Even though that's not nearly as balanced and our trade is worse and a million other things. Whoa!
We got
Ebenar
fits on a
2
point of
is a near
interest.
perfect environment for the evolution of life. It's bountiful within this paradise. There's a proto-society of intelligent lithoid creatures, one that could prove an excellent candidate for rapid evolution. Oh, so there is just a straight up Gaia world over here, size 20. We definitely need to get our hands on that in some capacity, even if we don't end up, you know, trying to like invade them or anything crazy. That would be very, very good. So, yeah, all influence is going to be to try and get to the Ebenor system. We're struggling with
That
amenities,
upgrade
which means
was
our
well worth the
stability is bad.
alloys.
So let's go ahead and build a hollow theater. This is going to produce unity and amenities, which is going to solve
Game-changing.
that issue. Whoa! Broken Union. The ISS Probe 11 crew have made some astonishing discoveries on Ebenar 2. The abandoned settlements first seen from orbit were once inhabited by a society of reptiles that still populate the planet, but have since lost all capacity for sapient thought. In an investigation, how these creatures developed from a tool-making agrarian society in mere beasts, Vale Havoc has made an unexpected find. The burial remains of the settlement-dwelling reptiles possess a spinocranial organ not observed among their now bestial counterparts. Testing has revealed these organs to be a different species entirely, a sort of neural symbiote that connects with the host brainstem via external attachment to the spine. These symbiotes can still be found in hot springs on the planet's surface. It seems the union between these two species triggered the temporary uplift of the reptiles. What later interrupted this symbiosis, however, remains unknown. Vale Havoc requests permission to study these remarkable neural symbionts more closely. Very
Good job
well.
in the situation log.
By all means,
We've
research
constructed
that
something
project. That's
game-changing.
incredibly intriguing. We're going to take the extra naval capacity yet again. Pretty much never turn that down when you guys see it. We can actually look here at the different blockers, but I'm not going to touch them for now. Too expensive for us to justify it. So, all right, the neural symbiosis, and this is going to be the last thing I read because this recording is almost an hour 40 before I divvy it up. Science officer Vale Havoc has concluded her study on the neural symbionts found on Ebenar 2. These slug-shaped creatures consist mostly of a complex brain and a resistant protein casing. Despite their neurological advancement, their lack of external organs and limited motor capacities make any attempt at communication exceedingly difficult. After weeks of frustration, Vale Havoc experimented with introducing the creatures into an animal host. The reptilians these neural symbionts once built an unsophisticated society with on Ebenar 2 are too aggressive to facilitate experimentation, so a number of substitute species from the surface were tested instead. Regrettably, the symbionts refused to attach themselves to any of the offered animals. Science officer Vale Havoc hypothesizes that the symbionts will only accept a certain kind of host, perhaps importantly, a willing one. In order to get at the heart of this mystery, Vale Havoc has requested permission to transgress the role of detached observer and offered herself as a host for a neural slug. After all, if these symbiotes were capable of turning wild animals into tool-using farmers, what could they do to us? Okay, well, we have a big decision. An outrageous request? Absolutely not. There's sometimes a hands-on approach is best for science. I say we do it. But we're going to have to find out what it is next time, as again, this is way too long, and I have reservations for dinner. But I hope you guys have a wonderful day or night, wherever you're at. I am really excited for this series. Thank you to Badger Boy, aka Dylan, for recommending that I do this. It gives me an excuse to waste my life away in this game even more. But with that, I hope you guys have a wonderful day or night, wherever you're at, and peace.